Hi guys. Hopefully my dog doesn't just knock me on my butt. This is one of my patches of wormwood, and this is the one that I pull from because it's spreading. Wormwood spreads from seeds, and you don't want it spreading into your neighbor's cow pasture, because if they eat too much of it, it will cause, I believe it's liver and kidney damage. You don't want it. This is not a forage, this is a medicine. So wormwood is used as an anti-parasite that you can use on your animals. If you choose to use it on yourself, that's your choice. My family uses it. I have some black walnuts that I also planted that have not survived, but my neighbor has black walnuts, and that's something that is often used together as an anti-parasite. So if you have animals, if you have cats and dogs and other animals, you probably have some form of parasite, and it probably isn't bothering you, but if you have a compromised immune system, it can really take your health down. So I keep this planted, and then when it starts to spread, I come out and I harvest it. It spreads fast enough and easily enough that I don't worry about hurting anything by taking quite a bit. And then I dry it in a dry spot just in the kitchen. I don't use a dehydrator. I don't use an oven. I just open air dry. And you want to be careful that you are not overdoing it on this. It is a medicine that poisons other animals, parasites. It poisons living organisms. So it can poison you if you take too much. So you can do it as a tincture, which means you put it in a type of high alcohol content liquor. We've used vodka and brandy. And you can do it as a tea. You can eat it fresh. Just be very aware about your counterindications. Again, you don't want this to spread into your neighbor's pasture, because if used as a forage, if used as just feed, it'll kill things. These are nettles, and they make excellent greens for, like, if you have low iron, you can make tea with them. And I need to get out here and harvest them. They're a little past their prime. You don't really want to be harvesting them when they've already gone to seed, because a lot of the nutrition goes into the seed. A lot of the value of the plant goes into the seed instead of being in the leaves. Same thing for alfalfa and a lot of other plants. Most plants, their vitality is in the leaves until they put on seeds. And then once they put on seeds, it goes in out of the plant and into the seeds. So you can see they're kind of going to seed. And when you harvest this, you want to wear gloves. The wormwood is not prickly, but a lot of medicinal plants can be quite prickly and hard on you, so I do recommend wearing gloves. This is official comfrey. The leaves are more narrow and elongated than Russian comfrey. This is the one that's meant to be used for medicinal purposes for humans, and I have it planted under these particular trees so that I can find it, instead of thinking that, oh my goodness, where was the official comfrey again? So this guy traditionally was used at, it was called bone knit, and you would use it as a poultice for broken bones, or for skin that you wanted to heal. You don't want to use comfrey on puncture wounds, because it heals from the outside in, and if something gets trapped and is bad on the inside of a puncture wound, it won't be able to move out, because the skin will have already healed, but the inside won't have healed. So you've got to be careful about puncture wounds when you use comfrey. This is also prickly. I am very, very sensitive to comfrey, so I have to make sure when I harvest this that I am wearing gloves and long sleeves. If you're sensitive to zucchini, if you can't touch zucchini plants, or, you know, if your skin is just generally sensitive, comfrey is not going to be your friend on your skin. This little plant is Lovage. It's like a perennial celery. And when the seeds come on, you can brine them and use them as capers. I love this because the bees love it. It's a very, very strong celery flavor. So I have a tendency not to harvest the leaves, but I do want to try the little caper seeds this year. This beautiful plant is Motherwort, and it is for women's change of life issues, for heart issues, for blood issues. That is what my research has told me. And it loves my climate. It spreads everywhere, and it has prickly little seeds, kind of like a goat head. So I have to come back and cut back new plants all the time. But it's nice to have something that just loves to be here. This is my living fence that's really turned into more of like an herbal fence. I have a cherry that volunteered. I have a lovage. I have my willows that are coming up like normal, and then I have my motherwort that comes in everywhere. You can do this as a tincture, as a tea, or I would imagine you could eat it raw, but again, a little prickly, and this one does strike fear into the heart of my sensitive skin. I must also wear gloves with this one. Alright, so this one is very prickly and sticky. Well, I guess prickly is the wrong word. It sticks to everything. It is an herb, but it came up and it comes up in the same spot. It doesn't really spread terribly bad. It's not hard to get it out. It's a cute vining little thing. I'll see if I can figure out what it's called. Most of my medicinals I got from Horizon Herbs, now called Strictly Medicinal Seeds. And all of their seeds have been fantastic. Okay guys, I'm going to close this out in front of my my Motherwort, Comfrey, Russian Sage, Jerusalem Artichoke patch. This one, I planted a whole bunch of herbs to see what would like it the best, and they all said yes. They all said yes. So I need to go in and cut back the Motherwort. So I will harvest this Motherwort and dry it so that I can leave some space for the Russian sage that's getting killed by the Motherwort. And you can see it right. That's Russian sage. If you can find the types of seeds that want to survive in your area that will naturalize, it's very nice. It makes your life simpler, and that's what I've done. If you're into learning about my kind of climate, this is a little ad for Paul Wheaton. He is in Missoula, Montana, and he talks about hugelkultur and deep mulching and what kind of herbs and what will grow here and what doesn't need to be watered. He is the collector of random information that may or may not be useful, but is always intriguing. And what was the one he introduced me to? It was the One Straw Revolution. So the One Straw Revolution is a book about finding ways to add agriculture to your landscape that still allows your animals, your wildlife to be happy, but feeds you without having to use chemicals, and finding the resource local to you that is free or easy. And so if you're interested in that kind of thing, go check out permies.com. They have all sorts of forums. They have the podcast from Paul as he's talking about different permaculture books and ways to save the world. He is very much a Earth Mother crusader. And so if you're super duper conservative, he might not be your cup of tea, but he has a lot of people on that have a lot of good ideas, and he does swear some, so just be aware of that. And he is, I think most people that are interesting people are going to be characters, and Paul Wheaton is a character. So if you like that kind of guy, somebody that is not politically correct and really says what he thinks, might just be your cup of tea. I'm going to go in and dry these guys, lay them out on my racks on the wood stove, and make sure to go check out permies.com or richsoil.com if you're into Paul's stuff. Again, this was a teeny tiny little ad. I got paid $42 to make it, and I get those ads made twice a month, so I make $84 a month from these ads. If you're interested in the hotbeds, and how to make them. You can find those at my Etsy store, which is in the link in the description below. I'll try to remember to put in the links to the seeds too, but they're not an affiliate. And hopefully you found this helpful, and we'll talk to you later. We found a cool spot. Hi! Should we go in the house? I think you're getting too hot. Come on, Graham. Graham Cracker. Graham Cracker. Hurry up. Come on. We'll go in the house where it's not so hot. Everybody else found the entrance. What I'm hoping is that they come in here where it's really shady. So very nice and shady, and that's exactly where it needs to be grazed the most. Because I think these sea buckthorns just need a shock to make them start fruiting. Oh, you're so happy. Sea buckthorn is so good for every kind of herbivore. Oh my gosh, they love it. The rabbits love it, the goats love it, the sheep love it. And they already know where their water is. So once they have finished eating and they're feeling like they're getting a little too warm, they'll go back and find their water, or they'll go back to the house and sit on the front step to cool off. Aren't they beautiful? It makes such a huge difference when they're raised by a mama. They really need that love. Even if their mama is a goat, they need that. So there we go. You would not believe the difference they will make within a week's time of all this. That's about how much time we have before they go to the butcher. And then after two of them go to the butcher, the other one we're keeping as a stud. We'll bring the ewes up here and switch them. We won't keep the ram in there with them because it's not that time of year. Yep, they found the plums. Yeah, it's not that time of year for him to be in there with them yet. We need to wait till the end of September, maybe October, so that they're not born in too hot a weather. But they should be super happy up here. And because the reason this is safe is because they have already been eating lots and lots of fruit bushes and alfalfa and grass. They haven't been on a strictly hay diet at all. They've been out already eating this kind of thing. So putting them in here, the grass is not lush. It's kind of brown. The trees are not going to make them sick. The fruit, I hope the fruit doesn't make them sick. But generally they have pretty good sense. They'll kind of shift from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. They don't stick on one thing for very long. What do you think, little sheep? Is this the good life?